great state of Louisiana, we welcome you to Baton Rouge, where the 6th seed Florida State Seminoles get set to battle the A-10 champion George Mason in the big dance for the first time. Towards midcourt, and the opening tap against Ilani Kasia, controlled by the Patriots. And we are underway finally in Baton Rouge. Starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. Up first for the Seminoles as Timpson goes in. Off the hill, Latson, the leading scorer in America. Timpson, enormous rebounding numbers this year, and the Noles are on the board first. 1 minute in, the Noles with an early advantage in search of their first NCAA tournament win since 2019, and the bank is open for Paula Suarez.
Well, they have found their way, the team in green, being a very good half-court defensive squad.
Gordon, the mid-range, and the jump stop in traffic to win an NCAA tournament game.
Yeah, her number 21 jersey hangs in the rafters back at Florida State. One of the all-time greats to lace it up for the Seminoles.
Just one game last year you mentioned against Alabama. She is on the biggest stage now. Here's a turnover. And off to the races, it's Bonner. Florida State in the midst of a 9-0 run. Turnage with a touch on the right side of the lane. The step back is smooth.
Yeah, another shot attempt, though, by Florida State in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock.
And the rebound by Gordon. Corner three on the way,
yep.
And it goes down. And we're going to talk a lot about Carla Villegas. Settle in a little bit.
Yeah, you just never know as a coach. You know, you got to trust your gut in that locker room. I thought she was great with her kids, talking to them before the ball game, giving them confidence.
And Tania Latson.
Yeah, heck of a coach, great lady. Cancer survivor. I had them last year at the first and second round in Austin, Texas.
Off the bounce, Kennedy Harris, and a chance for three. Well, perhaps a spark for George Mason. Steal by Taviana Habib. Outside, a wide open three. It's Volker. It was Volker off the mark. Here's Latson ahead of the pack. And Tania Latson with 7.
Just a breakdown by George Mason. No one.
First ever meeting between these two schools comes on the biggest stage. Harris, the elbow J. Outside to Williams. Baseline, it's Bonner. Treadwell with the mid-range, just inside the stretch.
Great job. Not good, great job to drive that basketball. It was obvious to us.
Coaching certainly in her DNA, and Latson scoring in her DNA now in double figures with 10.
He has great control and shifts gears and a very strong body through contact.
Suarez, the step back, silky smooth. Second bucket, first was a three that was banked in.
Well, Walton, Harris, and Suarez are going to have 15, 16-point games and hit their average to hang in it, if not more. But again,
we got a lot of basketball left to be played. The lead back to 12. Niku Mitchell, layup line.
And never take that foot fake.
And Jimmy, it feels like George Mason, you mentioned it near the end of the first quarter, starting to settle in a little bit more, at least offensively. Latson on a heater to start with 14. Florida State lost to North Carolina in the ACC tournament. Gordon from the elbow. Last NCAA tournament win for Florida State back in 2019. And one and done since. Here's Bowles, an outstanding three-point shooter. And she shows you why.
Yeah, transfer from A&M.
How about the strength shown by Omaria Gordon? From the corner, it's Bowles, and Florida State 6 for 6 to start our second quarter. A perfect beginning. 75% to start this game against the upstart George Mason Patriots. First ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. Kasia inside, a tough shot. Here comes Harris. 37-19. Suarez, that shot's been there for 14, and she buries another one. And the results speak for themselves. Coach Klappenberg, the head man, Seattle Storm. How about the bounce off the triple? That's one way to do it.
For the leading score from George Mason.
She's got 4, but 1 for 9 from the floor. Latson off the glass. Man. What a strength shown there.
And 00 in white certainly fits that description.
Villegas, quick trigger on the three. Timpson on the offensive glass with a path and a bucket.
That defense is not at all pleasing to Vanessa Blair-Lewis.
The fingertips of Timpson. Walton the other way. Zaza. The floater with a bounce.
A very important last minute right now.
South Dakota State, the Jacks pull off the 7-10 win earlier today as the 10 over Oklahoma State. There's
Very
Suarez,
nice.
the runner. And a late whistle, a chance for three. Paula Suarez has really been the spark. Over 87 per contest, and the rebound controlled by Sydney Bowles. Yeah, defense with that kind of explosiveness on this end of the court. Timpson connects. Outside to Williams from downtown. And Gordon, the running rebound. Bowles for three.
Yep. The ball knew.
She has not missed a three-point attempt tonight. Perfect 3 for 3 to start. Suarez, the response on the other end.
I mentioned she's going to go to Spain and play professionally after this semester's over.
The letter D on the end of Believe with their t-shirt celebrating the A-10 championship because it's in the rearview mirror. It's in the past. We believe we won, and the lead back down to
A Bulldog doesn't take a day off, and the heartbeat, the scoring threat for George Mason now falls into the hands of Suarez, and she answers.
And here's Suarez, a heat check.
Wow.
And it's good.
Yes.
The lead down to 7.
Yes, ma'am.
Mitchell inside and rejected by Turnage.
What a recovery, though, by Snoop Turnage. It's the long arm of the law around that rim defensively.
Gordon shot. Throws it up and in, a circus shot. That very incredible comeback in fall of 2023, Jimmy. Something we're still talking about to this day, and she continues to fight. She's been cancer-free now for over a year. Yeah, tonight, Latson yesterday reflected on that time right after Coach Wyckoff returned. 3 by Gordon from the corner, and that's a big response, a lead in this postseason run we hope to make. Here's a steal by Latson. Wow. And now it's a 10-0 run by FSU.
Just like that again. This is the leading.
Faith O'Corey. And now Jada Brown on the floor. Corner 3 is good for Kennedy Harris.
There's just a lot of fight back in this team from Green.
It was a 22-10 outburst in the first 10 minutes, the difference. Walton back to Harris from 16.
A fighter's chance with 4 minutes to go.
Steal by Suarez, a big moment here.
They got numbers. It's 5-on-4.
Top of the key, a triple drops for Jada Brown. FaceTime with her dad before the A-10 championship game in which they beat St. Joe's.
But she just kind of kept putting it on hold because her dad wanted her coach, her former college coach said, hey, just come help me for 1 more year. And next thing you know, here she is rising through the ranks from
Pete Maravich Assembly Center. And there goes Gordon, spins it up and down. And the lead at 17, Jimmy Dykes, Roy Philpott. Florida State has looked the part as a top seed so far in this NCAA tournament, and Timpson with a chance for 3.
Got a lot of stuff about her game, working off of her screen right here.
Drops the dime inside to Timpson, who comes up limping. Incredible atmospheres this year. You go back to the non-conference matchup with Stanford in December. This place was absolutely on fire. It'll tie her career high, a new season high. But the atmosphere tonight should be absolutely electric, and Gordon continues her hot start in this year's dance.
As she studies film, things will break down during that game. She is elite, and I don't like using that word a lot, but she is elite as a rebounder.
Latson to Timpson. Big upset today with South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits over Oklahoma State. Corner 3 for Tania Latson.
Maybe as much national exposure as some of the other players that are out there, but she's every bit as good offensively as anyone in this turn power. That whoever wins that LSU San Diego State team, you're going to have your work cut out for you defending this team in white. Wow.
Bowles 5 for 5 from downtown. Florida State was a 64% start in that first quarter, and then it really accelerated. Off the steal, 1 more chance for George Mason, and the heave off the top of the backboard, 94-59. And for Florida State, its first NCAA tournament victory since 2019. And the Seminoles survive and advance to Monday.